Hi everyone, welcome to my Shoreline Studio. I'm Sybille Muschik. Behind the camera is Joshua Blanc. Today we're looking at some mark making. I have some new tools. I think I've shown some of them before. Just the usual Michael's place where I got them, and all sorts of nice like chisel edges and straight rounds. These are actually sculpting tools, probably for female and things, you know, softer clays and stuff. And they make wonderful marks, such as these. And it sort of reminded me of something that was in the back of my head. Last spring when we went to the creek just to maybe take some photographs of the water and stuff, we noticed that the fish were spawning, they're rainbow trout. And it was quite lucky that we even saw them. Most years we always miss them coming by. It's just a short time that they're doing that. So anyway, what fascinated me even more than the fish, though, were the reflections in the water of the trees and the foliage. So then you start to think about replicating some of those marks. And you can see that, you know, there's quite a variety and versatility to the mark making. And of course the colors as well. And here's an example of what I'm talking about. This is how I recalled that. And see the lines here in the trees, the little wiggly lines that you get in reflections when the water is moving a little bit. So then I started on with some masks and stencils, and first I did leaves, as if a leaf were, you know, floating downstream. And then I got into tree reflections and tried to make the background interesting so that it still looked like moving water. And we can do that if we're using our Deli paper. Now the Deli paper from previous episodes with wrinkling do these wonderful wrinkle effects. So it is just perfect for the kind of thing we're doing today. So we're going to stay with the Deli paper and try our masks and our, well, we're going to use it as, this is mask. I'll show this here. We'll get it right in front. This is my little cutout of my funny little branch with leaves on it. And here's a laborious process of cutting out trees and getting all these little wiggly shapes is not easy. So I'm just basically using an X-Acto knife and cutting it from a piece I'd done already. So we're not going to, I'm sure you know how to do that. So anyway, and then this is kind of the effect we're trying for. And we're going to try with 2 colors and 2 plates. So we'll keep our format more horizontal today. And we'll start with the blue on this one. And I have a variety of blues I want to use. I have this really strange, this is a roller stencil paint by Buckingham Stencils. I got this in a recycle store, you know, and next to nothing. I think it was like 25 cents or something like that. But it's actually quite a nice paint. And I've never come across it before or since, so if you know anything about that, leave a note for me on my Shoreline Studio to see where else this can show up. And also I have, this is Americana, just an acrylic paint. It's very opaque, which is what we like for this. Making it interesting. Now, what you could do, of course, just to make sure that you're going to have some crossways lines to indicate water movement, you can put them in at this stage. And we'll use one of our tools, sort of a chisel edge, and we're just going to go along, not too, this is a stream we're doing after all. And then if we're lucky, using our Deli paper, and I've got quite a bit of paint on for a change so that it will do the trick. And if we're lucky, it will wrinkle the right way, and it seems to be. There's some wrinkles going this way, some wrinkles going down. That's perfect. Okay, we'll just let that wrinkle away, and then we'll do the other plate. Okay, we're going to start maybe with an orangey color. And these are Amsterdam paints, as usual. This is just as of orange. I don't bother trying to memorize them all. I have a whole load of different colored paints. The ones I use most often I probably do remember, but anyway, and this one is Naples Yellow. This one here, Naples Yellow Deep. A little bit of that. And we won't mix them too much. We want sort of that dappled look. This is burnt sienna. I remember that because I use a lot. And I've got still some blue on here, but that's probably not too bad. Okay. I'm rolling it up and down so that the colors sort of look like reflections already going down. Some are a little too thick here, so we'll roll it out. And brayering off. Right, okay, so let's get some more Deli paper here. It's sort of curly. It comes in a tube when you send for it. I got this from Amazon. They just deliver to our place in their little white vans. You can always tell when Amazon's coming to deliver little white vans. Okay, using our Baron. Our little Japanese tool for printmaking. Now we're just going to keep using the paint as it goes. Not going to pick up everything, which is all to the good. So we have our nice little horizontal lines. And put it on here. So this is the first layer. Look, it's a bit shiny because the paint is going to take some time to dry. Okay, so a good start. And then this one. And then just hold that up there. Okay. So for the main prints, we're going to use Deli, but for pickup prints, like the ghost prints, we're going to just use cardstock. There's a lot of paint on here, that's why. And again, and we can work with those later as well. We're not going to get all the paint off. We don't really want to. We want sort of that background informing the next layer. But we just want to take the worst of it off. That looks pretty good. This one will be a little deeper in color. That's quite nice in its own right. All right, Now we're going to start on the stencils. So we just do the opposite. We put some burnt sienna down. I want, you know, the trees to look relatively tree-ish. And we want to stay with not too dark colors at this point. There might be a layer where we actually even use the black. Just a tiny bit of that. I think my roller is relatively clean here. Now we use the tree here as a... Now the tricky part is getting this thing on without it sticking too much to begin with. And we just use it this way. And we're going to pick up the background. Let's do it with Deli. No, yeah. We won't. We'll use our cardstock. Okay. That'll pick up most of the background, but not everything. And we get a nice negative of the tree branches here. And then we take this up. We'll just lay it this way so that it can, and we bring back our blue. I'm not concerned about registration. It's ordinarily I would just flip the plate over. So let's have that sit for a bit. And now back to the blue in this one. And we'll probably need that third layer with the dark colors. The garboonies have stolen my leaves. Ah, here we are. Okay. Now, rolling this out. I'm using, instead of the trees, I'm using the little branch with leaves on it because the yellow layer will look more leaf-like. At least that's the cunning plan, but not necessarily going to be the way it works. Okay, and we just place it down as if it's floating in the stream. And again, we're going to have to remove some of the background paint. Something else is a bit drier here. There. Okay. And it leaves kind of a nice edge around the, almost like an intaglio. Okay. Now, that's quite nice already, isn't it? So we'll probably work with that in a moment. Okay, so here's our orange sheet. Going to remove our leaves. Really do have a nice intaglio effect. Now, pronunciation of intaglio, I think you don't pronounce the G. It's intaglio, because it's probably Italian to begin with. Ah, now we're getting our nice little wrinkles as well. Now we're going to get some nice leaves or what? Okay, we have our leaves, but we have a nice intaglio effect, but it's not as visible as I'd like, so another layer is forthcoming. And let's have a look at this one. Okay, coming along. So we have the start. And like I said, we probably needed to go to a much darker color for the getting that effect we want. Okay. All right, now we have to figure out, well, what color do we need? And I think we're going to go again with the brown, and this time we're going to add some black to it. And we'll pick it up again. Sort of a back and forth process. We're going to use some fluid black. It's quite intense. All right, continuing on here with our stencil. And getting it down. Having that extra layer here. I'm just taking most of the black because we don't really want it in the background. And this one is starting to look very interesting. Almost three-dimensional here. Have a quick look at that. All right, take this off. Now, I'm not sure that we can print this without using our medium. We'll give it a shot to see if it's still wet. But we may need our matte medium to pick it all up. And look at those gorgeous wrinkles. Time wrinkles are gorgeous. Okay. Now I'm going to pull it back somewhat, and then if it hasn't picked everything up, we are going to get some okay, let's try for some matte medium. We'll just use a very light tone. We'll use our Liquitex. I've been using this, it's a little more fluid and dries a little more quickly. I do like the golden matte medium probably better, but all right. Put that back on there. Just to dribble more. It's very cold outside again, minus, what, 23 or so, Josh? So we've cranked the heat up in here, so it should dry fairly quickly. Now, some clever person on Gel Print Enthusiasts talked about using a fan, having a fan handy for this part of the game, and it's a good idea. I don't have anything that small, but I might consider the investment. Be worth it. What I usually do is I have a heater down on the floor, and it radiates the heat, and then we'll just put the plates down there, but I never have it too close. So it does take time. Okay, now we need to recover some of our blues. So and we want the orange. We've got the outline of the orange, but we're not enough of the blue to show up the leaves. So the next layer has to be blue. I don't even know what color. It says mountain green on it. Now, if that looks like mountain green to you, then, well.
Maybe you're very far away now.
I think so. Oh, it's a very strange color, but I rather like it. Okay. So this is a really good warm-up exercise. It just sort of gets you going. You can get into some mark making. Maybe cut a nice little stencil for yourself. Nothing too intellectually heavy for you to deal with, right? So, and we'll just do a few lines again. This time the oranges will show up. I mean, we could put a trout in there or something, but if you're in the trout mood. Anyway, okay. Now we need our leaves again. And I'm not going to worry about registering the leaves. We could do that and then flip the plate. Yeah. I don't know. We can try. This is something you can try. And by replacing them on here, now you have to flip it from what you had done it on the plate. Now, if you're careful, you can very gently move that over without disturbing the leaves. Sit and stay. And then you just put it on top. This is a way of recapturing your image. And then flip it over. Good. So we've recouped our water and we have a floating leaf. Obviously opposite to how I placed it, right? So because it's a print. And now I think we had that other one. Really nice outline there. Okay, the way to do this, there's always a trick to doing anything, is to paint in the leaves. Leafs. Okay, and then we can print it. Otherwise we're going to get orange or whatever on here. Well, we'll take an interlude, I'll set that up and I'll paint that quick and we'll get that leaf done. So as not to lose our leaves, we're going to just paint them quickly. And I'm going to add some medium just to make sure that it's not going to dry too rapidly. These chisel edge brushes are really nice for getting right into the corners and the curves. And again, you're working with mark making because you can do all sorts of little brush marks here. And some variation in the color. Whatever you don't want to have print, you can take out, but we don't have a lot of paint left and it may not pick it up anyway. There's sort of a tiny little leaf here. Okay, and there's some leaves up here. And I have a little tiny rigger-like brush, and we can put some details in. And if you've smudged it, you can take it out. And the stem could probably be a lot darker. Okay, you get the idea. I'm rushing because we're always short of time and we just got to get it done. Okay. So now we have to line things up. And I should be able to see where to place things. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's going to not pick up an awful lot, but there'll be some details. And you might have to do this kind of thing more than once. And you're getting some details. So what we could do in this case now is do our medium. You'll get a little bit more color as a result. It's always a hurry up and wait kind of process. So it's nice that gel plates are so transparent and you can do this kind of thing. And we'll let that sit in front of the heater for a while. In the meantime, we have another one to reveal. And it's sort of stuck in places. Well, I'm not going to take it off totally because we have way too much sticking. What I'm going to do is, maybe we need to do it a little pochoir style, and we will ink the our trees here, put it down, and then and lift it off, and then reprint. So we're going to do some pochoir printing here. In that case, we have our stencil, and what we're going to do is actually paint our stencil. And I'm using a brush rather than a roller because with a roller it will stick, lift it up, and might tear the stencil, so not a good idea. I've just mixed black with a little bit of burnt sienna. We're going to put it in position and lift it off, and then replace the print. So you have all these skills now. You can pull in all sorts of things, the mark making, the cutting a stencil. If you've been following all my YouTube videos. Lots to learn and have fun with. It gives you a lot of skills, and then whatever you need to do, you can. Especially when things go south and you have to figure out, okay, what do I do now? Well, now you know. There's all sorts of things you could try. And we really appreciate everyone watching and making comments. It all helps. Okay, so we have our stencil. We're going to place it back on here. Now you can position it like this, and take some of the excess paint off anyway. Any areas that you haven't painted, you can catch it now and put it back. Now it's lots of fun cutting out these little jaggedy edges to make it look like a reflection, I'm telling you. Okay, and you can even paint it on here if you can see the shape of the trees. Just so it'll pick up a little bit better. Okay. Get that out of harm's way. We can replace this, and again, I think we're going to put more medium down because there was an awful lot of blue that we didn't pick up. We use matte medium for glue quite a bit, so. Okay. We're going to take a quick interlude, let this dry. Okay, other print is drying. We can reveal this one. It's not too bad. This is when we painted the leaves on the plate. And it's just on cardstock, and it's quite dramatic. And we still get the feeling of that movement of water, which is quite nice. Okay, fine. We're going to try a just slightly different method for doing our tree stencil here. And because the leaves turned out quite well, let's try and get the same result. And now we know that going, the lighter colors first and then putting blue on top is probably your better way of working. And we'll try and pull it off all in one go. And the way to do that is to just leave the stencil on. And just brayer it right over top. Okay, we're going to do this kind of thing. Most of this off so that our blue will be nice. And we have some halo effects which are going to be quite interesting. This is what it's sort of going to look like, and this will be blue. All right, so now the blue. Okay, we got this one. And this one. We won't get quite the same effect, but it should be quite dramatic. So, and again, now we can run just a few little lines. They'll just show up as white. And we take off our little mask. And now, because this is quite sticky, it's taken off an awful lot of that first color, which we didn't want, but maybe it'll be birches that we're reflecting. And we have our nice little wrinkles. And okay. Now we could put the medium on, let it dry and so forth, but we are in a desperate rush now. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint these guys. And just mix a few colors here. And that will pick it up. It's easy to do because you've got all these lovely outlines, so it's not a problem. And our brushes are workable already anyway. And you could either do that effect as well, which is even nicer. It makes it look even more like a reflection of a tree in a stream. And vary your colors, of course, make it interesting. Not too blobby, where it'll just squish out. And as you're working, you know, the more you have paint on your stencils and your plate, the more resistance there will be, so sometimes it just doesn't pick up anything. And that's when your medium comes in handy. So at home you can certainly do the medium and then let it sit that time. And of course now we can add some limbs, which we haven't been able to do. And it'll look even more tree-like, because they sort of resemble a little bit like stalactites or stalagmites. But this way it'll be unmistakable. There we go. So never worry about this kind of thing. You know, if things aren't working, just, you know, go with the flow. Think your way through it. Enjoy the process. A lot of people, you know, they start on something and they say, well, I don't like it, and they just want to give it up immediately. Well, don't go there. Just give yourself time. This is acrylic paint too. It's all fixable. Again, our nice chisel edges here make beautiful limbs. Don't forget to jiggle them a bit. And deli paper does pick up stuff really well. And then the wrinkles are a bonus. Okay, there we go. That should print quickly. Okay, picking it up not too badly. There's a little bit more there. Have a look down here. Maybe a little bit more. A few more little limbs. There we go. Well, that's quite a dramatic result. So, and if you want even more of the tone to pick up, and I might do that, I'll show it to you as far as I can, then replace that. It's off the sheet now, but I should be able to replace it. Okay, so definitely have our water effect. And those could be birches or poplars. We have a few of the limbs showing. All right, so I want to get some of this background, so I have put medium on. Maybe we lose the dramatic effect of that white, I don't know, but. And because it's very transparent, we can line it up pretty well. So this will take a few minutes. We have another one to reveal. I'm just going to stick this down by the heater again. And hand off. Okay. So Let's reveal this one. I think we get a lot of the water effect, but not so much of the trees. But it's not too bad of the trees. Yes, you can see that they're reflections, and we have our nice water effects. Bit dark. I would probably put one of those leaf things on later on and have that floating by, and or repaint the trunks. So, but it has a moody aspect to it. Oh, as usual, so much fun here at Shoreline Studio, and lots of experimentation, and you know, things for you to try. It's a good warm-up exercise, and you can do it either as like 3 layers, or 1 layer, or 2 layers. So it's all up to you. Lots of skills to use. You can even do the pochoir type by coloring the stencils. You can do mark making with tools, whatever you have. So lots of possibilities for this tutorial. Anyway, as I said, we'll reveal the very last one, our birch trees, I guess they are reflecting. Take care of your families, take care of yourself, and be kind to one another. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye for now. So here's the very last print. It was warming. And it's still birch trees, but it picked up a lot more of the color. And the water is nice and transparent. So, okay.